Hello everyone, Soulflame here, playing on my Restoration Druid Artemis. As always, I'm giving you a quick look at my glyphs and talents. It should be noted that because of the somewhat random nature of incoming damage in the healing mode, there is no set way to do it correctly. As such, my advice will be more general, but I will do my best to guide you through each round. I've made a concentrated effort not to use any major cooldowns, in this case Tranquility, during the course of the video, so feel free to use that in any round that's giving you trouble. All of the countdowns and warnings you'll see as the video progresses are provided by the Proving Grounds module of the DBM add-on. If you don't already have that, I suggest you get it. The damage in this round is pretty low, so feel free to DPS as much as you can without threatening the tank's health. As a general rule, in every round you'll want to place Efflorescence around the melee group, and if possible you should stand in it also. Additionally, you're going to want to keep Life Bloom and a stack of Rejuvenation rolling on the tank. And finally, you're going to want to use Healing Touch as necessary to keep the tank topped off and your Mastery buff active.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This round is going to take the same basic tank damage that you had from Wave 1 and add on top of that periodic bursts of AoE damage from the Hivesinger. Your teammates will interrupt the first 1 or 2 casts, so wait for them to do that. But after that, if you have some way to interrupt the cast, you should do that. Any of those casts that you interrupt, stun, knock back, etc. will save you a lot of mana in the long run. Your AoE heals will help some in this round, but you do have time to just cycle through each one and top them off single target. The Flamecaller puts down puddles of fire that your teammates may or may not stand in, but you should avoid them if at all possible. If you are unlucky enough that one of your teammates is standing in a puddle, just heal through the extra damage as best as you can. They will move eventually. When he finishes the channel putting the puddles down, he will switch to randomly targeting players and hitting them with a Pyroblast that does hit for quite a bit of damage, so this should test your spot healing. But it's important not to panic. None of the abilities hit so hard that you need to rush to your emergency heals. Just use your basic toolbox and try not to get too far behind.
2, 1.
Wave 4 is pretty much the same as Wave 3, except that the mobs are large, so they will have a little more health and hit a little bit harder. Just as before, you're going to want to not panic. Use your efficient heals as much as you can. Don't worry about going to your fast, expensive heal unless someone's in danger, generally less than 50% health. And keep in mind that a interrupt, stun, or disorient will save you mana in the long run. It costs much less to interrupt something than it does to heal the damage it causes. Mana conservation is a good habit for any healer to get into, but it's of particular importance to Druids. Not only will you want to use your Omen of Clarity procs wisely, but you need to learn to let your hots tick through and not heal over them, because that's just a waste of mana. Wave 5 starts to kick things up a notch. You'll have a few more enemies, and then they'll start to spawn in the middle of the round as well. The first 2 mobs aren't too bad on their own, but a couple more are going to spawn in a few seconds. As always, go ahead and DPS as much as you can, and use your stuns or interrupts to keep the Hivesinger locked down. The fewer casts he gets off, the easier it will be not to be behind on your healing by the time the Flamecaller arrives. As you can see, the Pyroblast that he casts takes a really good chunk out of your health, especially if it hits someone other than the tank. This is where that mana conservation really comes into play. You want to have as much mana in the tank as you can, so that during these times of high single target burst, you can just go to your fast heal to take care of it. And of course, towards the end of the round, when all the high damage mobs are dead, things really calm down, and you can go back to your efficient rotation to start to regen some of that mana you just spent.
2, 1.
On Wave 6, the tank damage will be a little higher than you're used to, and on top of that they introduce a new mechanic, which is dispelling a debuff. The Aqua Bomb has a short countdown during which you can dispel it before it explodes, dealing a high amount of damage to the target and anyone nearby. It's cheaper and easier to just dispel it, so dispel quickly. There are a few things you can do to help with the extra tank damage in this round. First, the Germination talent allows you to put a second stack of Rejuvenation on the same target, which you should do to the tank. Secondly, the Force of Nature talent allows you to summon Tree Ants. You can summon up to 3. Each charge has a very short cooldown, so should be available often, and they put out quite a decent amount of healing. Finally, Bark Skin has only a 1-minute cooldown, so it should be available in each of the final rounds. It not only reduces the damage taken of the target, but it also increases the healing done to them. Wave 7 isn't terribly different from Wave 6. The small Aqualight becomes large, and you replace a large Ripper with a small Flame Caller. The net result of these changes is that you will have slightly lower tank damage, but instead you will have random bursts of moderate single target damage spread throughout the group. You'll handle the tank damage in much the same way you did the previous round. Throw an extra stack of Rejuve on the tank, and use small cooldowns as needed. Don't forget to dispel the Aqua Bomb, you still don't want that to go off. And finally, handle the random bursts of damage using your efficient toolkit if you can, but don't be afraid to go to an emergency heal if you need one. As always, using your damage dealing and utility tools wisely throughout the round reduces the amount of damage you have to heal and gives you longer in between rounds to help regen your mana.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wave 8 really brings it all together, throwing a little bit of everything at you. The key to getting through this round is to avoid as much of the AoE damage as you can. To do this, your top priority will be to dispel Aqua Bomb quickly, and after that you want to lock down the Hive Singer and kill it as quickly as you can. Ideally, you'll want the Hive Singer to be dead before the Flame Caller spawns in a few seconds later. You shouldn't have too much trouble doing that as long as you help with the DPS. Once the Flame Caller spawns in, you'll have to worry about the puddles of fire that he channels, and as soon as those are down, he'll start in with the high damage Pyroblast. Your Tree Ants are very helpful for helping to mitigate this burst damage, and you should have pretty full mana bars, so don't hesitate to go to Regrowth if you need to. Once the Flame Caller dies, it's all downhill from there. The only enemies left are 2 small Rippers, and all they do is a moderate amount of tank damage. As I said earlier, I didn't use Tranquility in this fight, but if you do need to use them, the best places to use them would be for the Flame Singer damage at the beginning of round 5, and for the Flame Caller damage in round 8, and it should be available for both. Nature's Vigil is another helpful cooldown, and it should be available for rounds 4, 6, and the beginning of 8. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me through this YouTube channel or on my blog. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped you.